Hey guys, how are you doing? It is the turn of Ys 9 Monstrum Nox to be reviewed. As usual, I'll be checking its story, gameplay, graphics and music. So let's begin with its story. Once again, we are in the shoes of adult Christine, and as soon as we set foot near Balduc, we are detained. Once inside the prison, Adol gets to know someone willing to help him escape, and this is an opportunity that doesn't get slipped by. As Adol is escaping, he finds a mysterious girl that shoots a bullet that turns Adol into what is known as a monstrum, under the name of the Crimson King. That is how Adol acquires some interesting powers, but also something like a curse, because now he is not able to move out of the city until he gets this curse lifted. As the chapter progresses, we get to fight along with the other monstrums, and also as Adol the Red, who's in the prison. Wait a second. Yep, this story gets intriguing since the very beginning, just because these details. And as it progresses, the intrigue grows and grows, making it an extraordinary story. One valid question may be, do I have to play the other Ys games to understand this one? The answer is not really. Yeah, there are several details that you may not catch, because this is actually my first time playing an Ys game. However, it is a kind of isolated story that you will be able to get. I like to add the voice acting along with the story, and I gotta say that this one was not of my favorites. Not because it is bad. No, on the contrary, the voices used are on point. But this game has something like a 45% of the whole game with voice acting, that sometimes it threw me off guard. 1 second there is voice acting, and at the next one there is not. I prefer games when they have something like 10% of voice acting, or at least 80%, but nothing in the middle. For the story alone, I will say it is a 10, but adding its voice acting, I believe it is something like an 8. For the gameplay, this is a really fast-paced hack and slash with RPG elements. You can get in your party up to 3 characters, and it's not annoying to change between them, because you can do it by pressing one button, bringing some crazy combination of attacks and possibilities as you play. Along with these, there are interesting mechanics because every character has something like an affinity, like slash, blunt hits, and depending from the enemy you may need one or another to deal a decent amount of damage. Also, you can equip your characters with different items to improve different attributes. For the combat, it is sometimes so fast that you have no idea what is happening, but that is later in the game. Here, there are several interesting mechanics, because you can inflict different kind of ailments, and also you have the chance to use something like a perfect guard, letting you attack much faster or land critical hits. This is something that you need to master to play it in the hardest difficulty, otherwise fighting a boss takes ages, and it just takes a single mistake to get wrecked. On this end, Ys 9 has different difficulties. Personally, I just played it in hard and lunatic. Hard for me was more like a normal difficulty, and lunatic was unforgiving, but not impossible, where you need to pay much more attention to what you're doing. I simply loved its gameplay. Dynamic, full of possibilities, good exploration. I have no issues with any of these. It is a 10. For the graphics, that is something that can be improved from the get-go, because when there's, let's say, a piece of story where the characters move around, it looks so awkward that it hurts a bit. Also, inside some places these little details become much more noticeable. However, while in combat, the game looks actually really good. Or personally, I like how the attacks look along with the actions. For the Switch version, there are some drops, but that just happens when there are some specific things in camera. Other than that, this version was solid for me. If that can be an issue for you, then get the PC or the PS version. There shouldn't be any of these little details. This is actually the weak point of this game. it is a 7. For the music, since the very beginning I knew I was going to like it. At first I thought the soundtrack was composed by legendary Yuzo Koshiro, because I heard that this franchise is known because of that, but I found out that the composers were other people. Either way, this soundtrack is really good. I end up liking something like 80% of the tracks, and most of the dungeon tracks are second to none. I seriously recommend you to check out this OST from this game. What I enjoyed the most is that there was a cool synergy between the track and the place or circumstance. Also, these classic rock tracks bring some good memories from old RPGs. It is a 10. Its 9 final score is 8.7. Definitely a great game that I recommend for those who like fast-paced hack and slash games. There are things that could be improved, but despite that, this game was extraordinary. For my first Ys game, this was such a good experience. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.